And we are back with another episode of Bringing the Heat. I'm your host, Steve, joined by Brandon, and we are here covering another episode of football. It has been a few weeks since my last podcast, but don't worry, we are back on it. I plan to get about 2 or 3 a month out, and we are going to dive right into it. And I'm excited, Brandon. So it is week 6, and there's a lot of surprises in football this year, one of which including my Patriots, and we're 2-3 right now. And I think we are one of the strangest 2-3 teams because I don't understand how we can look so good against the Buccaneers and then struggle a little against Houston, and it's really hard to deal with.
I feel like for a rookie quarterback, though, like Mac Jones has come out pretty solid this year. He seems like such like a stereotypical Belichick guy, so I feel like it just fits like so well. Especially out of all the rookie quarterbacks they could have chosen, I thought him and Trey Lance were like the best two, at least like I mean besides Lawrence, but the best two like next up quarterbacks that could be something decent. I'm not a big Fields guy, but I think I mean, the Patriots, they look really solid against Buccaneers, but you got to think Belichick is probably like locked in for that one as far as wanting to beat Tom Brady and show him up. But yeah, I mean, they look pretty good this year. Better than what I was expecting them to look.
Yeah, I think honestly, I mean, I have a lot of Dolphins fans as friends, and they're also kind of appalled at how bad their team is. It feels like it's the trend. Like, I mean, your Colts are 1-4. We have a Vikings
It's a
fan in
rough
our group,
year.
Philly fans, obviously. It's really bad. There's like no bragging rights by any of our friends. I don't think any of our friend group can brag about any. Like, we're all just sitting in the pit of misery. Like, it's cool. We're all garbage.
I mean, at least like for the Eagles, it's kind of like they expected to have like
Yeah,
a sort of bad year. Like
the
on my
expectations
end
were
with the
lower.
Colts, I was expecting like, no more
Same.
Philip Rivers. We have what could be a decent quarterback in Carson Wentz when he's healthy, and he's played pretty solid. I mean, with the
Yeah,
bad O
he's not
line,
bad.
I mean, I think he's got like what 7 touchdowns on only 1 pick so far this year. Like he's
Yeah,
come out okay. I mean, he has fumbling issues, obviously, and he has injury issues, but I'll take him over Philip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett. That's for sure.
this is true. Yeah, I think a lot of things, especially in our area, I think just because we're around Eagles fans and the Eagles media, and they were trying to depict Carson as, and yeah, he did have a bad year. Like, and I'm not disputing that, but I thought instantly when he goes to Indy, he's going to look like an above average quarterback, and I think he's done enough to where you can say he is better than Philip Rivers and an upgrade over Jacoby Brissett. So like
Definitely.
you put that together, and obviously like their team is just not taking really any control of the division yet. But I mean, it's still pretty early because the Titans are in first at a 3-2 record. Then the Texans and the Colts are at 1-4, and then the Jags just don't want to win any games, so that helps them. But like you look at it, you're only 2 games back. I mean, it's still pretty early, so
I think they'll
some
come
teams
around. I
are,
think once some of
yeah,
the injuries, I mean, once some of the injured players come back. I know Ty is coming back now to play tomorrow, and I mean that could be either
yeah.
something
He's
decent or
he's been
something.
a little shaky the last
You
few
know what I
weeks,
mean? Like,
especially in the
yeah,
last.
it's exciting that he's back, but it's not like I'm like, wow, now we're taking off. You know what I mean? Because the
Yeah,
only real
now we're gonna
receiver,
fucking win it.
yeah, the only real receiver that's done anything for us this year is Pittman, which that's great and all,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, the secondary is always banged up. The O line has been bad this year, which was supposed to be like a strength on this team, but
Mhm.
I don't know. It's kind of just the Ravens game kind of put a knife through my heart with the Colts this
Yeah,
year.
that
Like
was that, and I was so pissed watching that game because seeing Rodrigo Blankenship just miss it and just miss the field goal,
blow it.
and
Like
I just sat there and I was like, I just sat there in the fucking dark. I was just in disbelief looking at my TV. I was like, "There's no way that just happened." I
after
just
that fourth quarter, they just went through like
And that was a great game by Baltimore, and like Lamar really impressed me. And I'm not a huge Lamar fan, I'm really not, but in that game,
he
that
looked
was
really
something
good.
like an elite quarterback does, and I was like, all right, okay, prove me wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good. It's just like I felt so confident going into the end of that game, and then you could like at least as a fan of the team, like somebody watching from the outside in would be like, oh, it's competitive. Like me watching, I'm like, this isn't gonna happen. Like right when the Ravens
Well,
score, I'm like, this is not happening right
we're
now.
not
And
winning.
Rodrigo missed it. I'm like, dude. And then he comes out with a hip injury. I'm like, dude, like I
It's
just
bad.
can't catch a break with the Colts this year. But I mean, Jonathan Taylor is finally starting to play a little better too, which is good. Dude's a
Oh yeah.
stud. Hopefully they trade Mac by the next couple of weeks. I don't care who gets them. Hopefully we get a decent return. And at this point, I think the Colts are running out of time. It's still early, but like
I
you
know
dig
you mean
yourself
though.
into
Yeah.
a
It
a hole
feels
like
like
they're in right now.
yeah.
It's not a whole
Yeah,
lot, not a whole
you
lot of wiggle room.
mentioned you mentioned a trade, and that kind of reminded me the other day where I think it was yesterday actually, where Zach Ertz was traded to Arizona, and I thought that was like that really surprised me. And then I was reading like apparently he knew before the game that he was going to be traded.
They
I'm
should have just
like,
got rid of him in the off season.
yeah, I mean, honestly, I was so sold on Dallas Goddard last year. I was like,
Yeah, me
he's the
too.
tight end. Like, let him be the guy, and then get something for Zach Ertz. But like,
I agree.
they got a fifth round pick, and I'm trying to figure out what the guy's name was.
Yeah, and a corner that they were. I think he's a rookie or he's a first year. I know the Eagles were looking at him and wanted to draft him, the corner, but they obviously didn't get to draft him. But I don't know if he's any decent, what kind of
Yeah,
stats
they
he's
got
putting
Tay
on.
Gowan. I kind of looked at his stats, but yeah, he must have been on like the practice squad because I hadn't seen much on him.
Yeah,
But
I think he's very like I said, a rookie this year or first year or second year player. I think he's a rookie this year though, because I remember
yeah,
I was
I
listening to the
believe
press
it.
conference with Howie talking about it, saying how they really wanted to take him, but it didn't land for them.
He is a rookie. Yeah, I mean
I
it's
mean, it's good to
good.
get Ertz off the team finally, though. And
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I just because I woke up to the news and I'm like checking my phone. I'm like, man, this corner at a fifth round. I'm like, his value's got to be higher than that. But I guess like in like the grand scheme of things, his value isn't that tremendous. So it's like if you can get anything, that's probably a win. Like,
not only that, like if they would have traded him before last year, like last year, I think really put like a beating on his trade value because of how bad he was. So it's like I think they should have just got rid of him in the offseason. Like I kept saying that in the offseason would have just made it a whole lot easier. I feel like having him play last year with like the attitude he had, like kind of pooped on his Eagles legacy a little bit. But at the end of the day, that guy will be an Eagles, whatever they call it there, a Wall of Famer or whatever they want to do.
yeah, I
That
think he's
dude
like
is,
second in catches behind. I don't think it was like Harold Carter. It was somebody, but it was one of like those Eagle legends. He's only like 10 catches behind them, I think, on the all-time list. So I think yeah, like he's a legend in terms of Philadelphia. I mean, he
yeah, it
made
is
that catch.
Carmichael.
Yeah, it is.
He was
Which
10
is a good,
behind Carmichael.
which is a good name to be paired with when you're saying like that's a
Wow.
tremendous spot. And
He was 10 receptions behind Carmichael, but he was like 60 games under him. So
Jesus Christ,
that's what in 123 games. He had 579 receptions. That's kind of wild.
he was explosive. I'd say for the first. I think he was drafted or brought onto the team in 2013. So like I think from then to like 2018 ish was probably his prime.
I
Um,
mean, if you think about it, he's the only guy in the history of the Eagles who can say he had the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl win. So
that's true.
pretty
That's what a lot
impressive.
of people are trying to keep in perspective. Like regardless of what's happened the last year or two, he was like a huge part of that Super Bowl winning team.
And not only that, like for a point, like a couple years ago, he was at like the number 3 tight end in the league, in my opinion, with like George Kittle, Travis Kelsey, and then Ertz was right there. Like he was very close to
Yeah, I
being
think
around that category. I don't think he was ever in that category. I mean, the dude was a reliable. I mean, he still is reliable as a tight end, but in his like prime, like he was definitely top 4 or 5 tight ends in the league. That's for sure.
now that Arizona offense, man, you got Kyler, D Hop, AJ
That
Green,
team
Zach
is
Ertz.
loaded.
Jesus Christ. They are 5-0, and I am not kidding. I think they can get 12 wins. They are
I think they can
not
get
looking
more.
too shabby.
Who are
I
they
know
playing
it's late.
tomorrow? I was just looking at the schedule. They have a tough one tomorrow, don't they? The Browns, maybe?
They are playing. Let me check.
Not
Yeah,
St.
the
Louis.
Browns.
That's gonna be a good game in my opinion. I was
Yeah,
gonna
it'll be
bet on
close.
that game, but like I just
Nick
wasn't
Chubb
sold
being
on.
out.
I
With Nick
wasn't
Chubb
sold
being
on a
out, I
win.
think that might be a little easier, but I don't know. That'll be a good game. I'm glad that's on the second slate. That's at 4:05. That'll be a good game to watch because I'm gonna want to watch that. It's only two 4 o'clock games. Cool. So
I'm digging out of the hole in our fantasy league as well. Finally,
yeah, I mean, I think we can even just transition over to fantasy because obviously Brandon and I both play fantasy football. We both use the ESPN app, and I'm in 2 leagues. We are in one league together, and
and in our league, only one person is undefeated, and that's Mr. Steven Lawler.
yeah, it's this guy, 5-0, baby.
Dude, I'll tell you what. I started out terrible, but I'll take a 2-3 record right now. I'm slowly working my way back.
That Thursday night game at Tom Brady and Leonard Fournette got me 54 points in one game.
That's ridiculous.
Can't
I'm
wait.
thinking I'm gonna
I'm
have a
going
good week this
undefeated,
week.
13-0. I don't care. I'm going undefeated.
I feel okay about this week. I lost Logan Thomas to IR, but I picked up Dawson Knox, and he's been okay. So
I got him in my other league, my big money. Yep. Oh yeah, he's solid.
the last couple weeks he's been really good. That Bills offense, I'll tell you what, I think Bills and Rams in the playoffs,
Dude,
Super Bowl. You know
that's
what I mean?
that's yeah. I think the Rams. I mean, I understand like they started off way high and they kind of like they're falling back to reality. But same with the Chiefs, sort of. But I think the Rams are so good. Like, and it's
Me
crazy
too.
that they're second in their division. Like,
I think the Chiefs this year are like a very vulnerable team. Like they're definitely very beatable.
that's a good word.
That defense is just not. I don't
The
know.
defense is Swiss
Even against
cheese.
Philly, like
It's fucking awful.
Tyreek Hill pretty much like buried the Eagles, but the defense like looked really bad, like really bad. Even with the
That's the
Buccaneers, though,
problem.
like their secondary, losing all their secondary players, like Richard Sherman going down is,
Oh
he's
yeah,
nothing crazy to bring in because he hasn't played and he doesn't look very good. So even when he's in, but
so slow, dude.
just
It's so painful.
losing him was bad, man. So I mean, the
Yeah, it's rough.
Buccaneers,
Like, yeah, Bucks are another weird team, man. Like, I feel like they're still good, like really good, and that's why I think if you're talking like NFC, for example, it's gonna be a battle between like LA. I'll throw Arizona in the mix. Green Bay will be in the mix, and then I'd probably say like Tampa. I don't know if Dallas can sustain it, but like they might be in the mix.
I don't know. That
But
defense is kind of scary too, like in a bad way. There's a lot of teams with such good offenses this year, but like the defense just scares me.
yeah, it's very like it's rough because you don't know. Yeah, like week in and week out, I don't know exactly what defense. Like Trevon Diggs is killing it for Dallas. I
He
think he
is.
leads.
He's having a
I think he's
really good season.
got like 6 interceptions, I believe, on the year, or like six. Yeah, I think he's got six,
I think yeah,
and
I think he does.
he's just a stud. And Dallas could definitely use it, and that's fantastic. And I think they are the runaway win for that division. I picked them. I picked them in May actually, right before the draft. I picked all the divisions. I had everything mapped out, and I had my predictions out. But I think Dallas is good. I think
I think
they're a legit team this year.
I think Dallas, especially in that division, will have no problem this year because
Mhm.
after last season, I thought Washington's defense was something special, but
Mhm.
they don't really look too great. And I mean, when you got Ryan Fitzpatrick leading your team, it's like, and Taylor Heineke is so like,
He's
he's
okay.
so it's hard to tell like what like he's one of those guys that like he can have some great games, but I don't, you know what I mean? He's not really legit option there. And then the Giants just look like dog shit. The
Yeah,
Eagles,
Saquon, dude, his ankle. Oh my god, I was like,
that
I just
picture
seen
was
his
rough.
ankle, and I was just like sitting there. I was just scrolling on my phone. I just sat there thinking like,
Dude, Christian
Uh,
McCaffrey going on IR today. Like when I saw
dude,
that, I was like, he was supposed to come back
I'm
like
just
two
so
weeks
glad
ago.
I didn't draft either of those guys for fantasy this
I
year.
said the same thing. I'm like, dude, he went number one, and could you imagine? That's why I never take him.
Yep,
I
same for
know it's gonna
me.
happen. I know it's
Yep,
gonna
same for me.
happen.
I was like, I can't pick these guys. I can't. And I like last year I went Derrick Henry. My first pick this year was Devontae Adams.
Yeah, that's what I got in our league, and
But like,
he had a bad like first week or two, but he's
yeah,
been like
it
a
was rough. I was
stud.
getting worried. I was like, this will literally decide my fate if he cannot go. Like, and that's
He's
why
been really
the
good.
first game, like they got killed by New Orleans, and that's why I was like, I need Aaron Rodgers to play
Oh
angry.
yeah, that
Like
was a bad
I'm
game.
going to lose. I was like, I will literally be eliminated in week 5. Like they got to start, and they took off. I think he's like ranked like
I'll,
second in
I'll
receivers
tell you
now.
what,
Like
dude.
crazy.
Mike Williams, I picked him up in our league.
So
I have Devontae Adams, DK Metcalf, and Mike Williams now on my flex. I can't complain whatsoever. Every week, I sat Mike Williams
he
one
is
week.
such a good player. Like it is just
He is going off.
he's
Like
ridiculous. I think he's
I'm,
ranked like top 5 in receivers.
yeah, he is having like an unbelievable season. It's his contract year, isn't it? Too.
I believe so.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid.
Ranked 2.
I'm
God
so glad
damn.
I got that motherfucker though. But
That is
and then as far as
insane.
running back, so I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was screwing me over, but I feel like I found a good thing now with Kareem Hunt and DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift's been really good this year for me, to be
Oh
honest.
yeah, I had him last year. He was solid.
He's really solid because he's a good receiving back too, so he gets you the points. But same thing with Kareem Hunt. I was worried like Nick Chubb would take over for most of the
Yeah,
points, but Kareem Hunt
but
every week is like a
he's good.
15 plus every week for me. So
And especially now and tomorrow with Nick Chubb out, Kareem Hunt's getting most of those carries.
Nick Chubb's another guy. He's like every year you can't trust him with injuries.
Yeah, and it's just running backs, man. It's just that position. I think like you don't think about it that much, but like how brutal. Like and Saquon tripped on a guy. Like he was running and
Saquon's
he
was ugly, man. Like
it was a weird ankle injury. I think they said it was like a sprain. It was only gonna be a couple of weeks. It looked really bad, but it was one of those things that it looked worse than it probably was. But running
it
backs,
just
man,
looked
like
bad
that
though.
whole position, if you can last like a good 6 years, like at like a high level, I think that's
Yeah.
like Hall of Fame worthy because it's like you just can't do that. Like it's so hard to just like put that together. Like
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
that's why I feel like pretty much unless you're a quarterback, you really don't get a long career in the NFL because you see most guys at like 30 years old breaking down. I mean, fuck, like Luke Kuechly had to retire early. You see guys
Andrew Luck.
like what was it? Cam Chancellor wasn't really that old when he went out too, right?
Yeah, I don't think he was. I think he was like maybe like 31.
Because he had concussion issues or something. Like it's the injuries, man. Like Saquon's probably not going to last to 30 years old in the league.
No, no,
I
I
don't.
think Saquon. I think this is probably like he's now gonna get brought back down from that like top tier running back where it's like now you're just gonna be like an average running back. Like I don't think
Like
you
he's
can
going to
be
pretty much go down the earth
like
like Zeke, where Zeke now
yeah,
has like 2, 3 stud games and then he goes quiet for like 3 weeks.
yeah. I was another Zeke supporter. I thought he was gonna be better the last couple of years, but he's really just slowed down his production. And
Well, it's
maybe
like
they revamped his role. Maybe it's now Dak's team. Now
look at a
Dak
lot
can
of the running
take
backs.
him.
So like Todd Gurley, you don't
Yep,
hear about him
yep.
anymore. I used to think Devontae Freeman was like a
I
really
was
fun
just
guy to
about to say
watch,
that.
but he's been
Yes.
like, pretty much
Yeah,
dropped off. Like
he's got picked up like 3 different teams. Yeah, it's bad.
like
There's a lot
he
of running
went.
backs. Like
It could end up being like that for like a guy like Zeke, believe it or not, like in like 2 or 3 years where he's just like not really effective anymore. I feel like in this league now it's becoming like such a hybrid position where like if you can't adapt to be like a receiving back and if you can't like power backs are just not a thing. I feel like I don't see much power backs that last in the league anymore. They're always you don't see a guy like Garrett Blunt or Marshawn Lynch, like a guy that just goes straight. He doesn't go left or right. He just fucking goes right to the like. It's so hard to
yeah,
find a beast unless you're Derrick Henry, but that dude's
yeah.
like a
I
freak
think
of
Derrick Henry is
fucking nature.
probably the example, but like there's so many running backs
Yeah,
where
but
it's
he's
like
elusive too. Like Derrick Henry is just like a
yes,
freak.
he's
There's
it's unbelievable. I can't believe how like dominant he is, and I understand it's a bit of a stretch, but I created this analogy like last week. I was thinking about it, and I think the presence that Derrick Henry has of that dominance on the field, I think it is almost equivalent to how Shaq was in the NBA. It's like
Yeah, because
you
you
might
don't
not
see
be the
anybody else like
greatest,
him.
but Jesus Christ, this guy is like a freak of nature.
Well, if you look at it too, like Shaq in the NBA was so crazy because for his size, nobody could stop him. And as a center, he could carry a team, which is hard to do in the NBA. So it's like when you look in football, how many teams have a running back that can carry their team? Like there's
Yeah,
nobody. I don't think there's any other running back in football. Maybe Dalvin Cook, but like Kirk Cousins has the receivers to do stuff. Like Tannehill's not that good. So like
he's okay. He's about average.
he's so easily bailed out from Derrick Henry. Like Derrick Henry, you could be down by 2 touchdowns in the fourth. You give Derrick Henry the ball in the fourth quarter, and he'll win that game. Like there's not a lot of like running backs that can do the things that motherfucker does, dude.
Yeah, I think he is really building a case. Probably like maybe like 2, 3 more really good years, maybe like a Super Bowl thrown in there somehow. He could be. He like I think that's like a Hall of Fame career, dude. Like I just
I
watch him
agree.
every week, and I'm like, I can't believe he's like still just like he blows through the middle, and he's just pushing linemen down. I'm like he's like 250 pounds. I'm like he's just
Well,
throwing linemen. Like
it's like one of
what?
those things where like I'm waiting for him to like not be as good anymore, like kind of cool out or like body starts to every year, every week, he just comes out and fucking 200 yards, 200 yards, 180 yards, two
Yeah, he's always
touchdowns, three
healthy.
touchdowns. Like,
It's like yeah, he's not getting less than 100 yards like
like
rushing.
it's
There's
not
like
fair. Yeah, like it's really not
like
fair.
yeah, he's. I think the Titans are in a good spot right now, but I did predict the Colts to win that division. I just felt like as a whole they were going to be better, I should say.
We'll see how it plays
And
out.
yeah, I
The
mean
tough part
obviously it
is
is
not
still
having a
early,
first
but
rounder because of Carson Wentz, that
yeah,
situation. So it's like if the season starts to go to shit, I would say, I mean, it's not like getting benching Carson Wentz gives you the pick back, really. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of like Colt sites saying if the season really takes a dump, just fuck the Eagles and sit Carson Wentz and make them lose that 75%.
honestly, if they're in a position like that, I mean it's petty as shit. But like at the end of the day, like if you have nothing to lose, why would you help another team?
Pretty much. I mean, the Colts are like notorious now for fucking getting rid of their first round picks, but DeForest Buckner worked out in my opinion. That dude's a fucking monster, but
Same with the Rams. Rams haven't had a first round pick since like 2016.
yeah, I
They just
mean,
trade them and they get like the fucking best players in the league.
they
You're
got
like, there's three
Kwity.
first rounds.
We got Kwity Paye this year though, so I'm not mad at that. I really wanted a receiver. I feel like every team every year is like they want to draft a receiver, but I think the Colts fucking needed it. Um,
Yeah, I need the
yeah, I
safety,
mean,
man. Like we need a like I don't mind Kendrick Bourne. I mean Aguilar's okay. Like Johnu and Hunter Henry, like they're solid. But I like want a legit receiver. And like with James White going down for running back, now it really just leaves Damian Harris. And now like Ramondre Stevenson and Brandon Bolden's got to play. Like, no, I don't like that. Like,
how about Antonio Brown? I think he's back, dude. Like,
he's been tearing it up. Like, he's been like
yeah,
reliably good.
and
Like,
I love
almost
Antonio
that
Brown. So
Antonio Brown.
I love to see it. I love Antonio Brown.
If there's a redemption story, it's got to be him. Like, he's going to do it. It's going to unlock that and just be like, now this is an Antonio
He's
Brown
quietly
2.0.
going off too. Like he's not
Mm-hmm.
making any issues. It's so funny how he says there were so many issues with Pittsburgh and the Raiders, and now they got issues all over the place in Pittsburgh and with John Gruden. That whole situation's all
Yeah,
types
now the
of
Raiders don't have a coach. Yeah, it's
yeah,
like
that
he's like
situation's
he
all
believes
type of
that.
fucked up. But AB's
Yeah,
balling out now, so whatever.
he's in a good situation. I think Tampa Bay, man, like they're just putting it together. I think there's probably like in the NFC, like I said, I think there's probably about 5 or 6 really good teams. But like it's gonna be tough. Like if all those teams can stay competitive towards the end and you have to get to like a wild card game, you might get like a game between like two like 12-ish win teams. That's going to be insane.
Yeah, that'll be fun to watch. I mean, you said the NFC.
Mm,
What do you think about the in the AFC, the Chargers?
dude, that okay. So I'll just say right here, the AFC West is the most competitive division in football right now. Everybody in that division
Fair
could
enough.
make the playoffs in some capacity. It's
I mean, I
insane.
think I think the Broncos, I think, are like the bottom feeder of the four. I just
Oh
don't.
yeah, for sure they
They have
are.
really good defense, but I think they just. But the Raiders, I think too, are kind of just pull with the. I mean, it's hard to tell now with the whole coaching situation, but I think even with John Gruden in there, I don't think they would have a crazy year. I just think the Raiders are going to be the Raiders every year, and they're going to just barely look
Yeah,
average or above average, but they're never going to be really anything crazy. I just think Derek Carr is, unless he's like really on his game, he's just not the guy to do it for him.
he's just an average quarterback. He's just another guy where like he's not bad. Like I wouldn't mind him if like you needed a quarterback, but I don't know if he's like a franchise type quarterback. Like I just and I understand he's been in the league for a while, but I don't know if he's really ever like traditionally just been in that position.
He's kind of like you can always tell. Like it's like you look at the Vikings, they're like Kirk Cousins. He's having a really good season, but you look at Kirk Cousins, you're like, is this a guy that could take me to a Super Bowl win?
Mhm.
Or is this a guy that's gonna fold? Or like you look at you can point out a ton of teams like that, but like you look at the Chiefs and it's like you put Patrick Mahomes on the Vikings, I would have 1,000,000% confidence that obviously he's going to be able to take you there. There's only like 5 to 6 quarterbacks, and like I think Justin Herbert can be one of those guys too on the Chargers. Like
Oh yeah,
to me, in the big games, I would have a lot of confidence in him, especially in the
he's
playoffs
got
now.
like
Like
real talent. Not like oh he's doing like these check down passes. Like he can throw the ball far. Like
I
get
think
it down the
Kyler's having a
field.
sick year though. Kyler's going to be fun to watch.
That's the thing between Kyler and Lamar. Their play style, I don't think it's sustainable in like a 10+ year careers. I feel like if they just because again they're agile and they can move, but they take
Yeah.
one nasty hit or they run and they slide or they go to a weird angle. Like that whole element of their game is done. You know what I mean?
What do you think I was reading about like the Eagles. So a lot of the fans are like, basically they've come to terms thinking that this is like Jalen Hurts is like prove it year. You look at the draft though coming up this year, there's really no like bona fide quarterbacks in the draft. There's a whole lot of projects, very good quarterbacks, but there's no like taking my rookie quarterback right out the draft and he's my day one, my week one starter. Like if you're the Eagles, are you taking 3 draft picks in the first round, or are you moving those draft picks to get rid of Jalen Hurts and sending those picks for? I don't know. I don't think Deshaun Watson's coming to Philly, but
Yeah,
see, to
I
me,
would.
it's tough
Yeah,
too because it's like, what quarterbacks would really be available this offseason? Because like Russell Wilson's somebody always available. I feel like every fucking offseason now, but he's what 32, about to be 33. It's like you
mm-hmm.
can't really build around that. And then it's Aaron Rodgers. Like him coming to the situation in Philadelphia makes absolutely no sense. So it's like, besides that, I don't really see, unless Deshaun Watson wanted to come here, but I think he just wants to go to Miami. So it's like, I don't really see a very, I don't really see any other big solutions that they could do unless they just stay with Jalen Hurts again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think in this situation, like after that game on Thursday, it really feels like they're trying to find like what type of quarterback he is, and he just didn't deliver. Like he just did not play well. Now I understand like Nick Sirianni's play calling wasn't great, and I admit that,
No, it's horseshit, dude. Like
but
watching that
but
is hard to
Jalen is
watch.
not like they
He's
showed how
missing
many
so many
times
easy throws.
he's like yeah, it's like Zach Ertz. He threw it out of bounds at one play, and it was
He was wide
like
open.
3 yards out. Yeah, like
It was wide open. He's done it a lot though, especially deep
it's just
passes. They're either
yeah,
too
it's just
far
like
or very short. Like
and it's just like he can't find that. I'm like, okay, you got it. Like, so I don't know if the Eagles like it's weird. Like, I don't know if they're in a position to just like give up on him. I think you could let it play out this year and then you get a better idea. But like, I think with those draft picks, you need a linebacker. You would
like
probably
so
like
bad.
another corner or another safety. But like, you need like out of the 3 picks, I would say probably 2 could go for a linebacker because it
I
is
I
terrible.
I mean, if you get 3 first round picks in the top 10, I'd have to see what the top 10 projections look like position player wise, to see who's available. But I think like at least 2 of the 3, if not all 3, have to go to defense. Their offense, I mean, it's so
That's okay.
young. I mean, you could always draft an offensive lineman, but you could take those in the second, the third, the fourth. I just feel because you don't need a stud offensive lineman. You just need very solid, even just average offensive lineman, and you'll be okay. Especially with Jalen Hurts, a guy that can get out of the pocket and do what he has to do. But I mean, I love Jalen Hurts in college, so it's like watching him in the NFL now. It's like he's still a project in terms of like arm accuracy and arm power. I think he has power. I mean, he could hit some deep
Yeah,
throws, but it's just his he waits too long to make deep throws to where like he loses the open, few half a second of what he has of an opening to hit the receiver. He'll overthrow people, he'll underthrow people. He's never like spot on. So I feel like if he just gets his accuracy on, it's tough to determine it right now just because Nick Sirianni's play calling has been literal dog shit. Like literal dog shit. But I mean their defenses looked okay the last couple weeks after they got blew up pretty bad for 2 weeks. Darius Slay's finally doing something, which is nice to see. But
yeah. I think honestly, like you made a good point. I thought, other than Jalen against the Buccaneers, I thought the Eagles played well. Like I thought across the board. I mean, aside from Nick's here on a play calling, like just purely on the players, I think other than Jalen, I think pretty much everybody did their job. I mean, like receivers were getting open, defense was it was like bend don't break type of scenario. Like
yeah,
they're not
which is how
great, but like
they've kind of seemed like that all year anyway.
yeah, and like that's fine. Like they just got to keep you in the game. Just can't give up a touchdown every drive. Like we're cool. But like, and but again, what is it with not running Miles Sanders? Like Jesus Christ,
Dude, and when he runs, he's so effective. That's what I don't
did he
get. Like,
not? Did he like do something to get in the doghouse? Because I don't understand. Like I don't. I tried to figure out like why
dude,
he
the RPO
nothing.
offense that they run drives me nuts. Like, it literally drives me nuts the way, like, even when they have like design plays, the design plays are so fucking ugly. Like, he's showing like screen passes that,
Yeah, the screens have to stop.
dude, like this isn't like 3 years ago. Like, screen passes do not work like that anymore. Like, the Eagles
Just stop
players,
throwing it 5 yards behind the line. You
bro,
need
the
just
Eagles
throw it
players are
forward.
getting smoked before the ball even gets to their fingertips. Like, like defenses know, like, the screen passes are so bad, and Nick Sirianni probably is calling them thinking he's outsmarting everybody, and then it's just blowing up. Like, it's so hard to watch. I couldn't stand watching them play the Buccaneers on Thursday.
Yeah, I think they're in a rough spot, but I mean, right now, I mean, I think in the beginning of the season, I think I predicted them having like 5 or 6 wins. Um, they'll
Yeah, that's
probably
probably right. Have them.
finish around there. Like again, they could get 7 or 8, sure, but like I don't know if they're that good, and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't really. It's hard to say it, but like I don't really count this year in terms of like we can win it all this year. It's more of like we're just gonna play this year and then kind of like let the draft the next year kind of
Well, not only
decide
that,
like
I think
where we're headed.
I think this year they're doing a lot of like, let's see what we have in this guy.
Mhm.
Let's see what we have in this guy. Like Jalen Hurts, let's see how he does. Now that Dallas Goddard will have kind of more of an open role, let's see what we have in Dallas Goddard, and especially like the defense.
Mhm.
Uh,
Derek Barnett is atrocious.
dude,
I'll just say
like
that now.
he's so bad.
I just can't stand him.
You cannot bring him back if you're the Eagles after this year. He is not only is he so bad play wise, but the guy like has no discipline. Like the guy has so many fucking penalty problems.
Yeah, he's just another player. And again, the Eagles are just one of those teams where right now, I mean, in a way, they're sort of like the Giants, right? Like you're kind of just playing and you don't have a set direction because you have young players. You look like a bad team, like a traditionally bad team, but you have spurts of like good playing, and you just gotta like just stop at the penalties, all the stupid shitty calls, like just try and play football. And like the Giants, like they're not that bad, but when you just make bad decisions and you get out coached, like yeah, you're gonna lose a lot of games. So in
Yeah,
that
I mean,
division, like Dallas is so much better offensive, defensive coaching than any other team, and it's like not even close.
and Washington's lucky with Ron Rivera. I love Ron Rivera,
Yeah, he's good.
but I don't know. I mean, the Giants are stuck being done. The Giants blow my mind because they have such good wide receiving, like a
Oh
good
yeah,
wide receiving core there. Like,
I think Daniel Jones is an above average quarterback too. A lot of people shit on him, like Sam Donald. I think they're both pretty solid quarterbacks.
Yeah, I agree. I don't mind
Maybe
Jalen Hurts.
maybe I'm crazy, but I just think guys like that, they just get disrespected, and that's why like
I don't know
you
if
look
he's
at teams like
above average, but I think he's at least average.
yeah, okay, that's fair. Because like when I look at the Jets, and it was the same situation 3 years ago. Sam Darnold is decent when you put him with some weapons, just some weapons,
Yeah, it
and
looks
you look
good
at
this year.
Zach Wilson looks atrocious. He looks terrible.
Really bad.
He's not that good, but they don't have a lot of talent on that team. So I don't really hold that entirely on him. But again, like if you're not gonna give him the weapons to be better, how good can he actually be? You're limiting what his potential is. So I will not count Zach Wilson's Jets
Sadly,
years as like
though,
the
sadly,
final.
I actually
Uh,
like the Jets offense, if I'm honest. Like
they're
the
okay.
receivers are
Like
okay, but like I really,
they're in
really
a
like
really,
Michael
really
Carter.
tough division. Like
I
especially coaching. Like if you look at like the AFC East probably has the best coaching across the board. Like the offensive and defensive minded coaches, like it is good in that division.
yeah. Yeah, I mean
Like
I don't know. I think the Jets have good pieces. They just don't have enough good pieces right now. Once they kind of continue to be dog shit for the next few years and build up their team, because I really like Michael Carter. I think he was a good fucking pickup for them. Zach Wilson, I think will put it together. I don't know what he is right now because of how bad he looks, but I think he'll be a decent quarterback. I mean, he's
yeah,
got a lot of tools,
I
at
think if they
least.
can draft correctly and not just blow it up like they do with Sam Darnold, because that's what they wanted to do. They thought Sam Darnold was a problem, and I was the only person I felt like defending Sam Darnold. Like, look at what he's playing with. Like these guys are barely like D1 players. They're going against NFL teams and getting like demolished. So like it wasn't completely, I don't think, fair for his judgment. And then you look at him now in Carolina. Sam Darnold looks like a pretty decent quarterback, albeit the what was it 2 weeks ago against the Eagles didn't look fantastic, but he's got talent around him. I think the Panthers are better. I think the Jets could be in a better position if they draft correctly. They need to stick to Zach Wilson, get a legitimate receiver next year because you're going to be in the same draft order, within the 2, 3 picks. You're going to get a good receiver. You need to get one.
My thing is like too with the Panthers. What's up with Robbie Anderson?
Yeah, he was good,
Like, what
but
happened? Like, I don't
like
understand.
I think he had like a minor injury, but like it's been like nagging or like carrying over.
He's
I'm
been
not
like,
entirely sure.
he's been almost irrelevant this year. He pretty much is irrelevant this year.
Yeah, it's been a wild year so far, but as we are on our way to week 6, obviously this is recorded Saturday night, so we had the Thursday game. I think we have a London game tomorrow morning. I'm gonna be up for that one. So I'm gonna be up
Oh
early
yeah, it's
tomorrow.
another what is it,
It's
London game?
terrible. Fucking 9:30. It's awful. So I'll watch that. But week 6 is underway, and if my Patriots do not win, we're going against Dallas, so we're not winning. I don't care. I don't know how we're going to win, but we need to win because if we don't win, I'm going to be very upset. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to be
Listen,
upset.
all I have to say is if my Colts lose to Houston, I'm gonna go to Indianapolis and someone's gonna get hurt. Like
It's true. It's damn true.
I can't do it. Also, I just wanted to throw in one thing too. Kike Hernandez is goated this baseball offseason. I'm just saying that. The dude is
True.
fucking raking against everybody this offseason. Just saying the Red Sox game is fucking insane tonight with the Astros. I picked the Red Sox, even though on Facebook I was blowing smoke. I did pick the Red Sox before the postseason started to make the World Series, so I'm just saying.
Exactly. And I agree because baseball is important, especially playoff baseball. If you want to even just get into it, definitely tune in to the 2021 playoffs. You will love it. It has been enjoyable. Brandon, this has been an excellent episode of Bringing the Heat.